What's going on, YouTube world and YouTube tribe? Welcome back to LilBigMan Gamer, bringing you. You see the title. You know what this means. I got on red too, so that means it must be a review. Must be review time for Monday Night Raw. Let me get my notes here, cause yeah, I gotta. So that way I could remember perfectly about how this show went. Thank you all for joining me. And let's get into it. So, yes, Monday Night Raw started off with Bobby Lashley. I guess you could say it was Bobby Lashley and Bill Goldberg, but it started off with Bobby Lashley coming out, MVP talking for Bobby Lashley. Tells Goldberg that he runs out Goldberg's accolades, his accomplishments over his storied career, and basically telling him that he shouldn't take the match he shouldn't pursue a match with Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam, because if he does, it will be Goldberg's basically last match of his storied career. So they begging, imploring, Goldberg to not take it. Trash talking Goldberg and all that type of stuff. And then Goldberg comes out, gets in Bobby Lashley's face. It says his piece. Says that he saw fear in Bobby Lashley, and that no matter what, no matter what time era, whatever, Goldberg's gonna be Goldberg, whether he's prime Goldberg, WCW Goldberg, or he's 100 years old. He said Goldberg is Goldberg, and that he would take the championship from Bobby Lashley. I will note there was a boy that Goldberg fist bumped on the way to the ring. That was his son, by the way. So just to point out, he will become important in a minute here in the promo. So that's what Goldberg said, and then he leaves the ring. Fist bumps his son again and leaves. This time, when he leaves, after he left, MVP was pointing out that his son's still here. So he tells he tells Bobby, hey, go bad mouth, go trash talk Goldberg's son real quick. So he gets out of the ring, he taunts his son, saying, "Yo, I'm gonna destroy your father at SummerSlam." At SummerSlam, it was gonna be me and your father. If I decide that this match is gonna happen, I'm going to destroy your father. And then MVP gets in the son's face, trash talking Goldberg, and then Goldberg comes back out and spears the hell out of MVP. All that to say, it was a great promo. One of the best promos of the night. Except the only thing I had was it was a little quick and cringe. I love Goldberg. Goldberg is one of my top favorite wrestlers, but it was a little cringe at times to listen to Goldberg talk on the mic. So this leads into the first match, which was Veer and Shanky versus Drew McIntyre in the 2-on-1 handicap match. It was a good match, going back and forth. Veer and Shanky showed so while they're, they could be in the ring. Like I said, I think I said this before. I never really watched Veer and Shanky wrestle, but they really showed that they could actually, do some things in the ring. Drew, I think, was getting ready to hit. It was either Veer or Shanky. I can't remember, but he was getting ready to hit one of them with the Claymore. But if it was Veer, I think Shanky grabbed his leg, and Jinder Mahal came into the ring and hit him in the back with a chair. They look like they about to get payback. It looks like they all grab chairs, and they look like they about to beat Jinder Mahal with a chair. But in some awkward, I'll say it's awkwardly cringe that they just stood there and let Drew get his sword, but Drew got his sword and he equaled the playing field. No, Jinder went to go swing first, and Drew hits the chair with the sword. Then he Glasgow's kissed Veer, and Shanky just freezes in terror at the sight of Drew holding the sword to him, and then Drew fakes like he's getting ready to go He gets ready to go attack him, but Veer gets out of the ring. And I would like to mention I love the Chicago crowd. The Chicago crowd is always one of the best crowds to go to, and they chant. We all. And I'm a little set before I get into the next match. I'm gonna segue here for a minute because we all heard the news that WWE has released Bray Wyatt. I won't spend too much time on it. Since this was Raw, I wanted to talk about it just a little bit because this was Raw, but I think that was a stupid move to release Bray Wyatt. He was one of your top stars and put on one of the best matches in the performance. But, it is what it is. Whatever happened behind closed doors, whatever type of business reason they have for releasing Bray Wyatt, it is what it is. But I think it was a horrible move to release Bray Wyatt. Just like I thought it was horrible to release Braun Strowman and Samoa Joe. But it is what it is. And they also, I guess it was also announced too today that Ric Flair is also gone now. I guess he asked, unlike them releasing Bray Wyatt, I guess Ric Flair asked to be released over creative differences and all that type of stuff. So Ric Flair is also gone. The second match was Nia Jax versus Rhea Ripley. Now, originally I just was like, oh, this is gonna be it is what it is, boring match, and I was gonna say, they went back and forth, and Rhea, or whoever won, that was gonna move on. But actually, it was a surprising good match. I would say it was actually a little bit better than the match that I followed before. It was actually better than the Jinder Mahal, the Veer Shanky versus Drew match. It was actually a good match. It was actually a little bit better than that match, and they went back and forth. They went at each other hard, but Nia would get busted open like bad too. Like it was noticeable bad. Like it started off small. Like when I had to keep going back to watch it just to see try to catch when she did it, and it was a cut above her left eye. I want to say I think it was the cut above her left eye. It looked like Rhea might have caught. I thought it was when Nia had Rhea in the torture rack, and Rhea when she tried at her attempt to escape, she probably her gauntlet looked like it. I thought her gauntlet there cut her in doing her escape, but it looked like it was an accidental hit when right after that she had Nia by the arm, she was hitting her, and I think that first initial hit, she accidentally mistimed and misjudged it where she was supposed to hit, and it accidentally really caught Nia in the face. I think her gauntlet caught her then and cut her open, and cause that's where you notice the blood. So correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong about when Nia got cut open, but that's why I thought I saw the event happen. So the match itself was still good. They still, Nia bleeding. Like I said, it started off little, but eventually as the match went on, that whole side of her face was just covered in blood. Like she was busted open bad. Like the cut was bad. Like it was worse. The cut was worse than I thought it was. Like I thought it was just when we first seen it, it was just a little bit of blood. So it's like you didn't think it was gonna be that much, but it was actually a lot worse than initially thought. I initially thought that was it. It was just gonna be a little bit of blood, but then it actually went further than that. But they continued to put on a good match, and let's see anything. Yeah, of course it was an accident by Rhea Ripley, but I think Sonya Blazer, she would try to distract Rhea to try to help Nia, but it ended up costing them, and Rhea would move out the way from Nia's attack and roll up pin Nia, and it looked like they teased a little split between Nia Jax and Sonya Blazer, but then Rhea would come back in the ring and hit her with the Riptide afterwards. But overall good match. The third match was Mansoor and Mason T-Bar versus Mansoor and Mustafa Ali, and pretty much just the same match like we got from last week, except for the difference is that who won. You know, it was just a regular tag team match, nothing too special. But this time it would be Mason T-Bar getting the win instead of Mansoor and Mustafa Ali. I really didn't care for it, but I'm glad that Mason T-Bar got them a little win. So it was a little, I want to say A plus, but that was a plus right there. I think after, let me make sure I ain't skipped nothing. Okay, yeah. So after that, it's a promo from Charlotte. This would be like, I would say, the second good promo of the night. Charlotte really put on the promo because she's like the first. I don't want to say the first person, because it's been a lot of people who over the years ran down the Money in the Bank briefcase match. The Money in the Bank match. So I won't say she's the first person, but she's the first person in a long time to have a promo where she's just bashing the whole concept and the match itself. She says that she hates the Money in the Bank match and the cash-ins, all of it as a whole, because she said it's a coward's way of winning the championship. She says that she points to the fact that the majority of the winners never had a straight up match for the championship. They just always ran and cashed in on somebody else, beating them up or whatever. And she was saying, she basically was saying that's how most of the people won. I think Rob Van Dam might be the only exception. Let me know in the comments below if I'm wrong, but I think Rob Van Dam was the only person to successfully cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase by challenging John Cena to a match and beating John Cena in that match, thanks in part to the help from Edge. But I think that was the only time you could say somebody actually cashed in, had a full match, a straight up match, and still won. I don't think nobody else ever did that, but I could be wrong. Yeah, she just talks about how she brings up the fact that she's been cashed in on 3 times, and that she started throwing weapons in the ring, saying that each weapon she threw in the ring after she talked about how many times she got cashed in on was that she was going to use later on tonight in their no holds bars match against Nikki Ash or Nikki ASH. She said she was going to use those weapons, but she also continued talking about how basically she got cashed in 3 times and she hate the whole idea and the concept of the Money in the Bank. But then Nikki would come out of nowhere and hit her with the chair to end the promo, standing tall. The fourth match was Tamina versus Doudrop with Eva Marie. I severely hate Eva Marie's character, because it's just like a slightly less annoying version of the one she did before she left, where she wouldn't wrestle at all. She just kept getting in the ring and stuff would happen, and she kept having to postpone it. This time she actually would get in the ring and do some stuff, but now she has somebody to do the work for her, and then she just tried to take the credit. So she's still haven't really wrestled a match. But the one thing that came out of this match, it was revealed that not Tamina, but Natalia's injury from last week was actually legit. They saw how she sustained the injury in the accidental attempt from Doudrop in the last week's match. I think Doudrop went for like a scoop leg toss, and she accidentally would pin Natalia's leg underneath her body as she was tossing her, and it tore some ligaments in her leg, so she'd be out. Wishing that a speedy recovery. Tamina still held her own. She did. It was a pretty good match, but Eva Marie would get involved, causing Doudrop to get distracted for a minute. But then Tamina would pick up the pinfall. But then Alexa Bliss would come on the screen and pretty much taunt Doudrop, and she taunted Eva Marie. We would get another promo with Miz TV with Damian Priest. And it was just the usual annoying Miz and John Morrison, basically just being annoying as hell, messing with Damian Priest. But things would get heated because Miz blamed Damian for him being in the wheelchair, and that he's gonna and that he wasn't, if he wasn't in the wheelchair, he'll slap the taste out of Damian Priest's mouth. Things would get heated, and this will lead into a match with because Damian said he said he did come out there to challenge Sheamus, but he said he got so pissed off at John Morrison that he challenged John Morrison to a match. So that match went as expected. Damian Priest would get the win because then they would get jumped. Sheamus would come out of nowhere to beat up Damian after the win, and so now Damian's getting jumped by both John Morrison and Sheamus, and then Ricochet will come out to help Damian Priest, which would then get turned into a tag team match. So the whole match went from Damian Priest versus John Morrison, with Damian Priest getting the victory, to Ricochet and Damian Priest versus Sheamus and John Morrison in the tag match, and then once again Ricochet and Damian would get the victory over Sheamus and John Morrison. So we go on. There was a backstage promo with Bobby Lashley, I think. Was I right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was a backstage promo with Bobby Lashley, tended to a still hurt, visibly hurt MVP. And he would get interviewed by one of the newer interviewer guys. I think the guy that replays Charlie Caruso, and basically they asked him, is he going to accept? Is this official? Is he going to accept Goldberg's challenge for a match at SummerSlam? And this basically was push him over the edge, and he says, yeah, that at SummerSlam he hopes he bring his. And he said Goldberg brought his son to watch him tonight, so at SummerSlam he will bring. He hope he brings his son then so his son could watch Goldberg get destroyed at SummerSlam, making the match official. That at SummerSlam it will be Bobby Lashley and Goldberg for the WWE Championship. We'll get to the next match, which will be Riddle versus Omos. No AJ Styles this week, and Omos got his own entrance theme and music. So I think that was a plus for that match. Though the match itself went as expected, so it wasn't that great of a match. It was just mostly some offense from Riddle, but mostly dominance from Omos, and Omos would get the victory. Then we would get a promo from Alexa Bliss. I think she was talking about how Lily influenced a lot of people over time. She was about to name some very bad people, but then Doudrop would beat up Alexa Bliss from out of nowhere, and Eva Marie would come and taunt Alexa Bliss and saying how Lily is ugly and disgusting, and so is Alexa Bliss. And she said she told Alexa Bliss to stand aside and watch the Eva loosen. And as she walked away, we got our creepy, but not so entertaining, little ominous rise from Lily. And I think the rumor is they said that that somebody's supposed to be Lily's supposed to manifest or turn into a person, and I think either a former diva or a new diva. I said diva, sorry. Either a former women's wrestler or a new women's wrestler is supposed to take the form of human Lily. I think it's going to be Aaliyah from NXT, since she still haven't been used yet, and we still haven't seen Daniel Brooke. So pretty much Daniel Brooke went back to catering, and they haven't done anything with Aaliyah yet. So the seventh match would be the next match, I should say, would be Karrion Kross versus Keith Lee, a rematch from last week, which is pretty good. It was a good match. It was a great match, actually. I enjoyed it because it was something about it that was a little bit better. It was a little bit better showing for both wrestlers this time around. And I think we will legit get the first time a pinfall of Karrion Kross, because Karrion Kross came for the Kross jacket, but this time Keith Lee will reverse it into the Spirit Bomb and pin, and we get the pin, finally putting Keith Lee back, giving Keith Lee a victory for the first time since January. Yeah, I think that was because he was losing for a minute, and then that's when he disappeared. But then this would be the first time since January I think he got a victory, putting him back in the winning column and hopefully on the right track. The only thing I have to say about the match was I still wouldn't have booked Karrion Kross to lose here. I would have book Karrion Kross to fight somebody else, another jobber to win against, and have Keith Lee win tonight. But at least I got to see a Keith Lee victory. Let's see. We got another match with Reg versus Akira Tozawa for the 24/7 championship. No real. Like, I just didn't really care for the match, but Reg, as he's being called, Reginald or Reg, got the win and still your 24/7 champ. Then we move on to the main event, which is once again the same main event from last week, which is Nikki Cross versus Charlotte Flair, but this time in a no holds bars match. And in this no holds bars match, it was pretty good. I say it was a lot better than the last week's match. It was very good. The women actually went the mile. You got to see a wonderful spear from Charlotte through the barricade. Charlotte put Nikki through the table. It was a pretty dominant performance by Charlotte Flair. She pretty much dominated most of the match. You had Nikki having her little spurts to overcome that, but she kept getting dominated by Charlotte. The thing that backfired for Charlotte was she was too cocky and too overconfident, and should have put Nikki away sooner. But she would get too confident, try to put Nikki through the table. She would end up putting herself through the table, which allowed Nikki to hit like a corkscrew DDT from using the ropes and get the pinfall on Charlotte. End of the night with a nice little, almost a superhero victory. This for the first time in a long time, I can say that I could actually give this episode of Monday Night Raw, I'll give it 8 big ups, because this was actually a more decent outing. This was a decent show than we've been seeing the last couple of weeks. This was way better. I felt like this was a little bit better than last week and the week before that. It had great matches. They actually been listening and gave us a Keith Lee victory. There was some repeatable stuff like the Riddle versus Omos whole thing. I don't think the Reginald match was a little bit of a downfall. I didn't really care for the Reginald match. I didn't care for the Matt Riddle match. I think the only other thing that was bad, I'm trying to see, was there anything that was bad? I didn't really care for the Mansoor tag team match. The only thing I had to say was the whole wrestle in one match, the whole one match getting turned to a tag team match or another match. You kind of put that on yourself when you keep releasing people. Now you don't have people to make up for. You don't have people to keep putting in matches, so you gotta make people wrestle twice in one night. And I just think that's kind of lazy. You got people that you could have used. You could have used that to introduce Aaliyah. Have Aaliyah fight somebody. Fight Dana Brooke. You could have used that in that instance, but you don't. But it is what it is. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of Monday Night Raw. And if you enjoyed this video, then hit this right there in the upper right corner. That's the little WWE review playlist. I almost forgot the word playlist. And you can watch all of my WWE reviews from beginning to now. And if you enjoyed the video so much that you want to support the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and turn on that notification button so you always get notified when I drop videos like these. And I drop videos often. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to enjoy more videos, then hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content. Chief is out. See you tomorrow for Nintendo Fun Day Wednesday.